I'm Ken Leon-Guerrero, and for the past 12 years, I've been a community advocate standing up for the people of Guam before administrations, government agencies, and the legislature. And now, as a Republican candidate for the 36th Guam legislature, I am taking my community advocacy from the seats in the hearing halls to the floor of the session hall. And today we're here to talk about the moral hazards of politics. You see, a moral hazard occurs when persons take risk because they do not pay the penalty or bear the cost of that risk. And I call that pork barrel politics. And we have way too many examples of that over the years, and way too many examples of that taking place in the 35th Guam legislature. Going back over the years, just recent years, we can look at how Simon Sanchez High School, now 8 years into a renovation project, they still haven't broken ground because Senators Judy Won-Pat and Tina Muñoz-Barnes set it up as a pork barrel project to benefit politically well-connected insiders. And then on top of that, we have the super secret, massive retroactive pay raises that Tina Muñoz-Barnes, Democrat, Tony Atta, Republican, and of course Chris Duenas in this current group of candidates for the 36th legislature met in secret session and voted and gave themselves massive pay raises and defended those pay raises for nearly 3-4 years in an effort to hold on to their money, which originally was our money.
Since the passage of Public Law 32-208 from 2.5 to almost 3 years ago, there have approximately been 10 bills proposed by this legislature to amend the existing law in some fashion or repeal it altogether. And all attempts have failed. I make that statement up front to set the tone for the rest of my testimony. I'm not about to get into the politics of those past failures to amend or repeal Public Law 32-208, but rather speak to you from my perspective as a former senator that passed the most controversial bill into public law.
Then we have the more recent examples of Guam YTK and the GRRP waste energy plant that is still in litigation after nearly 30 years, costing taxpayers millions of dollars. Those are just the recent examples. And of course, the most recent one that has just been filed with the legislature is Bill 368, which gives $12 million, well, 12% of all cigarette tax collections, to a politically well-connected insider who gets the contract to collect cigarette taxes on behalf of the tax collecting agency of Government of Guam. So as long as we keep electing pork barrel politicians who are willing to spend our tax dollars freely because there's no penalty for them, then we're going to see the government continue to decline. We trusted them to take care of us while we were busy trying to keep our noses above water in an economy that provided low-wage service sector jobs and double-digit inflation that kept the cost of living so high that many people in our community needed 2 or 3 jobs just to keep their noses above water. And now on the current course set by the 35th Guam legislature and, of course, Adelup, we are on direct course to follow Puerto Rico over the edge of the financial cliff that they went over in 2016 and ended up in a receivership that was signed by President Obama that basically put every expenditure by the government of Puerto Rico under federal review. We can do better, and we have to do better because our children's future, our grandchildren's future, and our great-grandchildren's future depends on it. And especially now, it's been really hard to get new candidates into the legislature because of the restrictions placed on us by COVID. So what we need is more information from the candidates for the legislature than we're getting right now. Because what we're getting right now is a mix of canned campaign slogans and 30-second sound bites on commercials. We need to know where the candidates stand on key important issues, and you're not going to get that out of a canned 30-second sound bite. So what we're going to do here is we're going to talk about the conundrum facing Guam voters. And we're going to start by looking at Schrodinger's candidates. Now, Erich Schrodinger was a quantum mechanic scientist who came up with what we now call today as Schrodinger's cat, which was a thought experiment. He had a theory that if you put a cat, well, I'll let you hear about it from this video.
Austrian physicist Erwin Schrödinger is one of the founders of quantum mechanics, but he's most famous for something he never actually did, a thought experiment involving a cat. He imagined taking a cat and placing it in a sealed box with a device that had a 50% chance of killing the cat in the next hour. At the end of that hour, he asked, "What is the state of the cat?" Common sense suggests that the cat is either alive or dead, but Schrödinger pointed out that according to quantum physics, at the instant before the box is opened, the cat is equal parts alive and dead at the same time. It's only when the box is opened that we see a single definite state. Until then, the cat is a blur of probability, half one thing and half the other.
Now, when we take this principle and apply it to politics, here's what we know for certain. Whenever we elect a new candidate into the Guam legislature or any political office, there's a 50-50 chance we're electing a public servant and a 50-50 chance we're electing another politician. Back in 2016, I supported Joe San Augustine. But over the past couple of years, he has proven to me beyond all shadow of a doubt, he's a politician. I supported Talina Cruz Nelson, also from the freshman class of 16. And over the years, she's proven to me that she is a public servant. I was a strong supporter of Regine Biscoe-Lee in 2016. But over the years, she has proven beyond all shadow of a doubt, at least to me, that she is a politician. And I also supported Therese Terlahi. And over the years, she has proven to us all that she is a public servant. So when we look at the class of 2018, the freshman class of new senators, we elected 6 new senators into the legislature in 2018. And out of those 6, 5 of them have turned out to be politicians. Sabrina Perez, Amanda Shelton, definitely Pito Terlahi, Kelly Marsh Titano, I'm not sure how we're going to deal with that, and Clinton Rigel. Out of the group of 6, we only had 1 public servant, and that was Senator James Moylan, proving that the 50-50 rule applies, 50-50 chance that they're going to be a public servant or a politician. Now, the problem is when we elect politicians or re-elect politicians, we do so with a 100% certainty they're going to continue looking after themselves and politically well-connected insiders before they look after the financial security and safety of the people of Guam. And we need to look no further than the July 17 vote on the bill introduced by Therese Terlahi and James Moylan to eliminate the primary election, which was basically a useless election since almost every race was uncontested. And in the process of voting to protect and keep the primary in place purely for political party purposes, the senators separated themselves into 2 groups, public servants and politicians. And let's see how the vote went.
Bill number 375-35 COR. Clerks, please read the title.
Bill number 375-35 COR, as amended on the floor, introduced by James C. Moylan, Therese M. Terlahi, an act to cancel the 2020 primary election and allow all qualified candidates for the 2020 primary election to advance to the 2020 general election.
Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Senator Castro. Senator Castro, nay. Senator Lee. Senator Lee, nay. Senator Marsh-Titano.
Aye.
Senator Marsh-Titano, nay. Senator Moylan.
Aye.
Senator Moylan, aye. Senator Munya. Senator Munya, nay. Speaker Munya Barnes.
Aye.
Speaker Munya Barnes, nay. Vice Speaker Nelson. Vice Speaker Nelson, excused. Senator Perez. Senator Perez, nay. Senator Ragel. Senator Ragel, nay. Senator San Augustine.
Mungo.
Senator San Augustine, nay. Senator Shelton.
Aye.
Senator Shelton, nay. Senator Titagui.
Aye.
Senator Titagui, aye. Senator Pito Terlahi. Senator Pito Terlahi, nay. Senator Therese Terlahi.
Ungen.
Senator Therese Terlahi, aye. Senator Torres.
Ungen.
Senator Torres, aye.
Colleagues, Bill number 375-35 COR received 4 ayes, 10 nays, and 1 excused absence. Bill number 375-35 COR failed by this body.
So, once again, here are the 10 politicians who made serving political party interests more important than the safety of the public. Now we're in the early voting stages of the general election. And here is Schrodinger's candidate box, right here. So I'm encouraging everybody to watch who's watching this video right now to call 477-9791, that's the Guam Election Commission, and make an appointment to vote safely and vote early. And here is my recommendation on which candidates we should be considering for the 36th Guam Legislature. Now, this is based on my 12 years as a community advocate, dealing with candidates and dealing with incumbents. And what we need to do is we need to put more potential public servants. And like I said, we won't know till we vote them in and see how they act in their first 6 months. Because it doesn't take longer than 6 months to sort out who the public servants are and who the candidates are. And like the shampoo bottle says, rinse, lather, repeat. In this case, vote, analyze, and vote again in 2 years. In order to change the future of our island, we need to change out the people who are charting the course to that future. Because right now, the course they're guiding us over is not a very good one. Let's start with the Democrat candidates that I'm recommending for the 36th Guam Legislature. Number 4, Frank Leon-Guerrero. Number 7, David Ralph Duenas. Number 8, Talina Cruz Nelson. Number 10, Therese M. Terlahi. Number 12, John A. Ananich. Number 13, Franklin Meno. And of course, for Congress, we're recommending Michael F.Q. San Nicolas. And as long as we're talking about the Congress, let's have a little fun here. And I say have a little fun because As we know, a very late entry into the Democrat side of the voting list of candidates was Dr. Robert Underwood, who 96 hours before the filing deadline suddenly had an epiphany that he should run for congressional delegate again. I personally wasn't impressed with the 10 years he did before, but that was just me. I'm very impressed with the 2 years that Mike Nicholas has been there. And again, that's just my opinion. Well, a lot of people's opinion. And of course, B.J. Cruz for public auditor. Running unopposed, but we still need to show our support of him by voting for him so that when his vote tally reaches as high as it usually does, he'll have a mandate from the people. Now, let's go over to the Republican side and a little bit of, I am running as a Republican because deep in my heart, at my core, I have Republican values. Small government, effective government, strong public service, strong public safety, strong public education, because I benefited from a public education. I'm a GW, UOG alumni, and the education I got here, paid for by taxpayers of Guam, gave me a life beyond my wildest dreams. And so I'm paying it forward through my community service, and in this case, recommending other Republican candidates. And starting with Michelle Armenta, number 1. Frank Blas Jr., number 4. Dominic Hernandez, number 3. Mary Torres, number 5. James Moylan, number 6. Myself, Joaquin Leon-Guerrero, everybody knows me as Ken Leon-Guerrero, number 9. Sandra Regis Seau, number 10. Tello Taitigui, number 11. And Vince Borja, number 13. You see, if we vote this group of candidates in, it helps strengthen the team fighting for the people of Guam as opposed to fighting for the politically well-connected insiders of Guam. To begin with, if we vote this list in, that gives us a political mix of 6 Democrats, 9 Republicans. So that creates a loyal opposition in the People's House that will stand up to the abuses that we are seeing in the administration. It also creates change politics because 5 incumbents and 10 freshmen are the formula for change. And it's very important that we remember the words of Thomas Jefferson, who more than 200 years ago talked to us about the importance of our votes when he said, there is only one force in our nation that can be depended upon to keep the government pure and the governors honest, and that is the people themselves. With our vote, we can change the direction this island is heading for the better. That's why I'm encouraging everybody who's watching this video right now to call the Guam Election Commission and make an appointment to vote early and vote safely, because as we see the infection rates rising here on Guam, we see a heavy toll being paid by people with more comorbidities like diabetes, cardiac disease, high blood pressure, cancer, and a host of other metabolic syndromes. We see the disproportionate part of the COVID victims being our Mananco. So if you are elderly, if you have health issues, if you live in a multi-generational household, or if you have children, you should make an appointment today for their sakes and vote safely and early. At the time of this video, we've got nearly 3,000 of the 54,000 people registered to vote have voted. It's not enough, folks. We need to get more people voting now. That's why I encourage you to call 477-9791 or go to and make an appointment. They also have curbside voting for Mananco and people with disabilities. Mananco hour at the GCIC is from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock. You can just go in. I'm Ken Leon-Guerrero, Community Advocate. This is the end of part 1. Now in part 2, we're going to talk about the no way vote list and why. It's not enough for me just to recommend why we vote for some candidates. It's also important that we recognize why we vote against other candidates.